Good evening, Basil. I'm going to start this video off by showing how to run Docker in swarm mode and run nginx as a service. So moving on, I've gone ahead and made a manager and 2 workers just to save on time. So if I jump into Google Cloud Shell, I'm already actually in the manager, so if I select it out, click away. So if I just compute into the manager and clear that away. Now the first thing we got to do is say docker node ls. So you can see here that I have a swarm of 1 manager and 2 workers. The manager is the leader and the workers are ready and active. So now to run nginx as a service, we need to type in the command docker service create replicas. I think 5 should be enough. Name web nginx. So that'll go off now and download the nginx container and then run it, or download the nginx image and then run it as a container, hopefully across all the hosts in my swarm. Right, so that's done. So now if we say docker service ps web, yeah, so now we can see that we have 5 nginx services running across, well, 2 running on worker 1 and 2 running on manager 1 and 1 working on worker 2, so there's fairly even spread there. So then if we want to remove the service, we can say docker service rm web, and then just to check that that is indeed gone, we can say docker service ps web, and you can see it says no such service web, no such service web exists. So that's how to run Docker in swarm mode and nginx as a service. So now moving on to the container management system. So I've created a little bash script on my local machine to test the container management system that's running on the manager machine. So if I just jump into compute engine, I suppose it'd be handier if I put this into its own window. Just knock him over there, knock you over here. Right, so to start, alright, cd into my project. If I display the files in my project, you'll notice I have a create.sh and a destroy.sh. They're just 2 simple little bash scripts I wrote to say me having to write the same commands over and over again. So if I just cat here, create.h, you can see that I just call docker build, docker image ls, and docker run here to build and run a container. Equally, if I use cat to show destroy.sh, I spelled wrong. You'll notice it's just another little script to stop and delete the container. So with that explained, if we call the create script, it'll go off and create an instance of a running container. This will take a little while because I have to download Docker to run within the container so I can actually create an image within that container so I can show that working in the test script. It confused me for a while that I actually had to get Docker running within the container itself. But once I realized we had to make the images within the container and demonstrate them from our test file, it made sense. Alright, great, we're in. So before going further, I'll just demonstrate that indeed the container is running away there. So I suppose the first thing we want to do is create a container from our local, or an image from our local host. So if I just show Docker Docker images, we'll see that the only images we have are Docker CMS, the nginx, and the two Pythons. So if I go into my local machine now, and if I show you my bash script, we're going to run this command, this curl command here, which will go up and create another image for us. So if I run test.sh, this will tell you the wall because it has to download all the container's dependencies as well and build the container. So we'll have to wait a little while for this. Alright, great, so that's done. So if I come back over here now, if I run docker images, we can see that it's added in the docker well say image and also this docker file image here. So there are two images that weren't present before we ran that command. So I suppose the next thing we would want to do in our Docker, in our little bash script here, would be to show all the images. So what we're going to do now is save that. And if I just run our test script again, we can see we get back indeed all the images from the machine all the way down to Docker while say. So I suppose the next logical thing we'd like to do is change the state of an image. So what I will do is I'll have to grab a ID. So we'll grab the while say ID. Paste that in here. Save that. Now if we run, so we can see the ID has changed. If I come over here and say Docker images, we can see that we now have a new test image with a tag of 1.1 that's been created from Docker while say. And I suppose the next logical thing we want to do is show all of the running containers. So now if we jump into our little script here on the local machine, we're on test.sh, so we can see we have one running container, the Docker CMS container itself. So I suppose the next thing we'd like to do is we'd like to create another container. So if we save there, run Docker, that's good. So we can see there's another container being created. So we can test that by now asking to show us all the containers. So now you can see we have two containers. So I created an extra one. So I suppose the next logical thing we'd like to do is change the state of a container to be stopped. So I'll be a container ID for that. So we stop this container in here, and here we go, save, and so again, I'm empty reply from the server. It's unfortunate. I suppose the next thing we'd like to do after that would be to delete a container. So if we just save there, and if I grab this guy here, paste him in there, save, and if we, right, so that's that container deleted. So that was my assignment. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. All the best. Bye bye.